ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Oh my God! It flames it out! Bang! Kiss for three! Bang!
ESPN's 360, brought to you by Dyke.
Now, my the college athletes should be compensated.
Something needs to be done.
Josh Mays, ESPN New York. Back to you, Chip. Ever since he can remember, Zach Bell, better known to you as the national phenom Z-Bot, has aspired to be an NBA basketball player. Despite growing up in the slums of Syracuse, he always had the loving support of his family.
In this exclusive one-on-one interview with Zach, he brings us to his old stomping grounds in the projects of Syracuse.
And despite all that, we didn't have much, as a family. But my mother and father were very supportive of me, despite the fact that we didn't have a ton of money. And so that just made me aspire to be great.
Looking at this part from the projects of Syracuse, where Zach Bell originally discovered his love for basketball playing with his friends. Now, Zach, I know you haven't been here in a while, but bringing back, talk about some of the memories you had.
Well, I remember right up there we used to cook burgers, kind of hang out. God, it's crazy being back here. I haven't been here in so long. I guess we'd hang out on that deck, but as you can see, it just isn't, safe. Maybe that's the word. This is the pool we used to swim in. You can look in there. It's not. It didn't used to be much better. I gotta be honest. But right here is the court that I grew a true passion for basketball. When my love for the game really grew. I learned everything I knew about the way I play today right on this court.
Tell me, how old were you when you first started playing basketball?
Must have been when I was 5 years old. Unfortunately, my parents weren't able to afford to put me in to these expensive travel teams and these camps, so I would just come out here with my buddies from the projects, and we would just shoot all day, every day. And that's how we got our playing. That's how we got better, here.
What first inspired you to start playing basketball in the first place? With so many gangs and other outside influences going on, how did you pick up basketball?
Well, growing up where I did, basketball was huge. Syracuse, it's a basketball hotbed, and I grew up watching Syracuse basketball. Carmelo Anthony, Jim Boeheim, Hakeem Warwick, the legends of the game. And they really inspired me to want to play in the Dome someday. And so I just got out here with my buddies. And it's not like we were really intending to become famous or anything. We were playing because we loved the game.
What is it like living a normal college life without much money while being surrounded by predominantly wealthy kids who typically attend Syracuse?
It's tough. Trying to maintain a normal life and keeping up with the Joneses, as people like to say, it's tough for me. Like I mentioned, I didn't come from much. I still don't have much. Basketball is everything to me. But as of right now, that's not bringing home any money, and it's it's tough for me to afford to eat, to do leisure activities, take my girlfriend out, go out with the boys. It's tough for me. I can't, as of right now, I can't afford to do that stuff.
What's it like being the best student athlete in college sports and receiving nothing other than your education as compensation?
I just don't understand it. I don't get how I can be a vital part in filling up a stadium with 40,000 fans, with another 1 million plus at home watching it, and the money from that is going somewhere, and I'm not touching it. Josh, this is my wallet. I got no money. I have absolutely $0 in my wallet, and that's a recurring theme for me. I don't quite get how I, like I mentioned, can be responsible for filling seats, for people buying tickets, buying cable, driving out to the games, going to bars, filling the bars up, watching the games, no matter what, buying my jersey that I told you was $100 in the shop, and I don't see $1 for it when I can barely afford to eat.
Right. So Syracuse ranks 9th in most valuable programs, worth $19.2 million. And over the next 14 years, CBS will make $10.8 billion alone off of the NCAA March Madness tournament. What are your thoughts on that?
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ludicrous, Josh. I am not the only one who comes from the background that I come from. A lot of student athletes who are playing college basketball, college football, these mecca programs, they come from the same background I come from. Not having much, not having a lot of money, and sports was their savior. But unfortunately, in the days we live in now, that's not going to cut it. With corporations making the amount of money they do because of our play, and we don't even get a few bucks here and there to go see a movie or get something to eat, it does not make any sense. We are basically working for no pay. We're being put in the spotlight. We're all over the tabloids, the press, TV, and as I keep mentioning, filling stands. And the great point you made, CBS, $10.8 billion in ad revenue off of our games for a month-long period. That's it, a month-long period for 14 years. And you mean to tell me out of that $10.8 billion, the students who are making you that money can't be given a few bucks here and there to go enjoy themselves on the weekends?
Zach, describe your daily life in college and how you survive.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it all before, but I'm living off a box of ramen probably once a week. I'm gluten-free. I'm allergic to this stuff, but I can't afford to eat gluten-free products. I mean, I have it right here, actually. This is all I eat is ramen noodles. Like I said, I'm gluten-free. I'm allergic to noodles, but it's all I'm eating because it's all I can afford. Now, it'd be different if I was just a normal college student eating ramen noodles every day and not being able to afford going out with his friends. But it's a lot different when I walk down the street and I see my likeness being used from my jersey number and my school for the jersey. I don't know if you can see this, zoom in on here. $100 a pop for my likeness is being sold not only online but in the college shop down the street. This is directly from the shop down the street. So the fact that I'm not receiving $1 for my jersey being sold for $100 using my likeness makes absolutely no sense.
After crunching the numbers and seeing the profits these schools and corporations make off of you D1 athletes, what do you think the solution is?
I think, personally, Division I basketball and Division I football players, and by when I say basketball, I mean men and women, because they're both on TV. Division I men and women basketball, and Division I football players need to start earning stipends for their play, hands down. Every game of ours, or the majority of our games at Syracuse and most Division I schools, are on TV every single week. Every game is sold out. Same goes for our football program, hundreds of football programs, hundreds of basketball programs. We deserve to get paid to play based off the fact that the money that is being made off of us is astronomical. And the fact that we can't even afford to eat and do leisure activities is blasphemous. So my solution, now I don't believe that all college athletes in general should be paid. I don't think that the programs that are not generating money should be paid. But we should be paid because of the money that we are responsible for. So, maybe like D3 to D2 schools should not receive money for their play. Okay? Even Division I, for instance, softball. If you don't make the College World Series, you shouldn't get paid. If you make the World Series and you're on TV on ESPN all week, you should be paid to play. But my biggest point here is the large schools, the Penn States, the Syracuses, the Notre Dames of the world, who are on TV constantly and constantly putting fans in the stands. Those players need to get paid. And I'm not
This
talking
has
about
been E60,
NXL.
brought to you by ESPN.
I'm saying
Any redistribution or resale of this program without the express written consent of ESPN is strictly prohibited. This video is not in any way affiliated with ESPN.
If we're good enough, we're going to wind up...
The video is also not affiliated with Geico.
For the time being, for the work we're putting in, and for what's being generated, we should be given a few bucks here and there to live.
Zach Bell, we appreciate your time. Thank you for your interview.
Thank you.
Bulldog Bullock, back to you in ESPN Studios.